I have an unhealthy obsession with Summer Walker. No, I'm just playing. But she is my favorite R&B artist right now, and every time I listen to a album or a song, I'm instantly inspired to go create some sultry R&B. And that's exactly what I did. Check it out. So the very first thing I did was start with the melody. Shocker, right? The first sound I used was a stock electric piano from FL Studio, and it sounds pretty solid. So for the melody, I wanted to be bouncy. So instead of it hitting on the 1, the 2, 3, and 4, I just kind of offset them. So instead of hitting on the 2, I moved it to the right a little bit. And then instead of it hitting on the 4, I moved it to the right the same way, same distance. And then also to make it a little bit more realistic, I hit Alt S, open the strumizer window, and just moved them slightly to the right. And that gives it a more realistic feeling to it. Then I also played with the velocity of all the notes so they wouldn't be hitting at the same velocity. Now, I didn't go too crazy with EQing or with any processing. All I did was add the EQ and just rolled out a lot of the low end so it wouldn't interfere with any other low end heavy sound. The next thing I did was I picked the Glaze preset bank in the Contact library and just kind of played around with some of the presets just to get a different sound going on. And this is the melody I picked to go over top of the initial melody. Now I played these notes to go exactly over the initial melody notes. I just shortened them up just a bit, just so they wouldn't go on the whole entire melody. For the effects, I added a Fruity Delay 3, turned down the wet knob, and also played with the time just so it would repeat just at the right moment. And then I added the Pancake 2 VST, so it would give it a whole lot more movement than if I just kind of left it alone. For the third sound, I added another instance of Glaze out the Contact library, picked another sound, and it had to go over the top of the same melody. Now this was another instance of easy processing. I didn't do much. All I did was take the EQ and roll out a lot of the low end, a lot of the high end, just because when I play the sound, there's a hum in the background that's pretty sharp and that interferes with almost everything else that goes along with the beat, and I did not want that, so I just EQ'd both of those out so I wouldn't do any of that nonsense. Seeing how easy it was to kind of process these 3 sounds is really drilling into the fact that sound selection really is key. If you get really good sound selection, you don't have to do too much processing. You might have to fine tune some things to make everything fit, but you shouldn't have to heavily EQ or add effects to anything. I mean, that's just your prerogative. You can if you want to, but you don't have to. The next thing I did was I added this drum loop just so I can give myself an idea of what kind of bounce I was going for. And as soon as I did that, I immediately just started adding in the hi-hats. And notice I played with the velocity for quite a bit of the notes just so they would make it a lot more bouncy. So that it's not all hitting at the same velocity. So it seems like there's no movement at all. It's at one solid velocity. I didn't want that. The next thing I did was I layered in 2 snares. Followed by the kicks. Add in some open hi-hats. One open hi-hat plays normally, and then a second open hi-hat in reverse and stretched a little bit so it would hit at the perfect time that a snare hits. Then an 808 pattern to go over top. Add an 808 glide up top just to give it a little razzle dazzle. Put that all together, you get you a nice sultry beat. Step I added was adding a regular synth bass just to give it some variation from having that 808 punching in your ear the whole entire time. Now here's the bass. Bass, I wrote out all the high end just so I can get strictly the bass and the sub bass. And to add on a little bit of flavor onto this beat, I added on an EQ where I chose the radio preset where it has that filter sound in the beginning and then also at the end. I made it an automation clip. Down in the comment section down below, I would love to know what your favorite Summer Walker track is because I love all of them. Also, please comment, like, subscribe, tell a friend and tell a friend. And I'll be back with another video soon. Peace.